gentlemen, thank you for joining the live webinar with Vior. Today we're going to talk about the Quebec's next high-grade gold exploration camp. My name is Adina, and I'm a director at Emerging Markets Capital that is hosting this event. Just a little bit of information about EMC. We are a private mining investment firm based in Hong Kong, and we help Canadian mining corporates to build strategic relations with investors in the APAC region, including mining companies, mining funds, and off-takers. And just a short disclaimer that this webinar is for informational purposes only. So Vior is TSXV listed under VIO ticker, and it's a hybrid junior mining exploration company focusing on exploring a portfolio of highly prospective district-scale gold projects in Quebec, and it is benefiting from a long history of exploration success. Here you can see the flagship asset, the Belleterre project, spanning over 30,000 hectares and hosting a former mine that produced over 750,000 ounces at 10.73 grams per ton. And our speakers will share more details about this exciting project. So first, Mark Fedosevich, who's the president, CEO, and director at Vior. He has been involved in an investment industry for over 30 years, and he has worked in a number of senior advisory positions, including the first vice president at CIBC, Wood Gundy. And over his career, he's established an extensive network of mining executives, high net worth junior resource investors, and junior resource portfolio managers. And joining him today, Laurent Eustache, who is the executive vice president and director with over 15 years of experience. And as an exploration geologist, Laurent contributed to a number of exploration successes, including Casa Berardi for Horizon Mines and Amaruq area for Agnico Eagle Mines. Since 2014, he's a portfolio manager and investment advisor for CDEX. He holds a master's degree in economic geology and an MBA from University of Quebec and Paris Dauphine. So, gentlemen will deliver the presentation first. It's going to be around 40 minutes, and I encourage you to ask any questions you might have throughout the presentation, and we will make sure to have them answered at the end. So please leave them in the Q&A box, or you can drop me an email as well to adina@emarkup.com. So with this, I'm handing over to Laurent. So thank you and enjoy the presentation.
So good morning, everyone, and thank you for taking the time to attend the Vior webinar. Laurent, I believe that our company has a very compelling investment opportunity story to convey to you in the junior mining space, and we look forward to doing that here today. So just before we begin, I do want to share a cautionary note that we will have some forward-looking statements in our presentation. So please take just a moment to read through. Thank you. To begin with, just a little bit about Vior's corporate profile. Why Vior Inc? Our value is based on strong fundamentals. Firstly, strategy. Our strategy is such that we're an exploration company and we're looking to explore on multiple potential projects. Our flagship Belleterre Gold project is really our focal point in the company right now. I would say 85 to 90% of our capital and our human resources are devoted to it. We also, though, have upside on 8 other promising gold projects within our portfolio. As most of you are aware, a discovery is really the key driver for value creation in an industry that everybody is aware is known for a very low rate of exploration success. Safe jurisdictions, all of our projects are in safe jurisdictions, either Quebec or Nevada, arguably 2 of the most attractive mining jurisdictions in the world. Expertise, highly committed management team, strong leadership and track record. The company's been around since 1984, so we've survived many cycles throughout the last 40 years. Management has combined 100 plus years experience, and most importantly, management has skin in the game. We own in excess of 16% equity position in the company, all bought in the market or via private placements. There is no cheap founder shares. Financial and technical support. We have some very strong project partners. including Osisko Mining, very successful advanced exploration company, likely going into the production stage over the next several years. They purchased 9.9% partially diluted position in our company last March at 20 cents a unit. In addition to that, we formed a technical committee with them on two of our projects, which Laurent will go over in a little more detail. FSTQ, Sidex, SDBG, Desjardins are four Quebec-based institutional investors in the junior mining space. They are all investors in our company. Iluka Resources out of Australia is a joint venture partner on two rutile projects within our portfolio. We don't talk too much about it. Our focus is precious metal centric, but we do have these two rutile projects of which Iluka is taking care of all the exploration expenditures on. SOChem is a Quebec-based company. We've recently concluded a project swap with them. And Ridgeline Minerals is a publicly traded Nevada-based junior explorer. We have an investment in them. We'll go over a little more detail on that further in the presentation. And lastly, diversification. We're both an explorer, and we do have the ability to invest in a private company if we see a really good opportunity. So, this is increased exploration exposure, helps us reduce our corporate risk profile, and we also have exposure to several potential new discoveries. So a little bit about Vior's asset allocation and diversification. All of our exposure is in North America. We have a very strict internal project generation criteria. First of all, we have to be in a mining-friendly jurisdiction in North America. We have to be in close proximity to either an existing mine, an older producing mine, or an advanced project. Good infrastructure and easy accessibility year-round. Many of you may be aware, Quebec is a very big province, parts of it up in the northern sector where you can only explore various parts of the year and drill at various times of the year only. Where we're located, it's year-round. Good infrastructure, easy accessibility, potential to advance the project very rapidly. Discipline and focus. Vior's disciplined capital and human resources allocation process really provides us with a strong commitment to our flagship Belleterre Gold project. So in the bottom left-hand corner is a little bit about our focus on Belleterre. Belleterre was a consolidated project that we finished consolidating early last year in 2021. Quickly after we completed our consolidation, we completed a 2-month summer field exploration program. We completed a high-resolution mag on the project. We've done a lot of compilation. It's still ongoing. A lot of it is a function of a lot of the old data was not digitalized, and we're in the process of digitalizing everything. It has allowed us, though, to complete enough compilation to complete an initial 3D model, which Laurent will go over with you. And in addition, we just completed before Christmas 4,000 inaugural drilling program. We hope to have the results, hopefully at the end of the first quarter, to convey to the market. A little bit about Vior's diversification. We do have several other really good Quebec-based gold projects. They are not our focal point at the moment. Some of them we're advancing gradually to try to add a little bit of value. They range from greenfield to more advanced stage. I would say the two top projects, Musso and Ligneris, are almost drill ready. We are in discussion with a couple interested parties at the moment, and that's probably the extent of what I can discuss at the moment. And lastly, as part of our hybrid model, we do have a passive investment in a publicly traded junior Nevada company called Ridgeline Minerals. They have some excellent projects and an excellent management. We currently own a 6.5% equity interest. We consider that as a mid to long-term investment within our portfolio, and it doesn't form part of our working capital. A little bit about Vior's corporate growth opportunity. Really, it's centered on the Belleterre flagship high-grade gold project. So this is a high potential gold project. We've completed the consolidation. Laurent will go over in detail the land package we've accumulated and the strike length of the model. We're using a systematic exploration process that is in a project that's never been consolidated before. The past producing Belleterre gold mine completed production in the late 50s, and really nothing of size was consolidated. It was all piecemeal little projects over the assembly that we've been able to complete. We believe that this provides for a lower risk exploration opportunity in a proven mining district. We know that there was high grade gold production. We know that there is still a resource there of some degree. It's not our focal point. It's not 43-101 compliant at the moment. We are seeking a bigger opportunity through our exploration this year. In addition, it meets all of our project generation criteria that I presented a little bit earlier. Proven valuation creation strategy, typical examples of what we are in the process of doing would include Osisko Mining with their Canadian Malartic mine. Canadian Malartic used to be a small high-grade mine that was closed decades ago, but Osisko was able to revitalize that, consolidate a huge land package, and ultimately discovered, in excess of 10 million ounces. Detour Gold with their Detour mine is another example. Integra with the Lamaque mine that was recently purchased by Eldorado. So a little bit about our path over the last 12 to 18 months in terms of building value in the market with our market capitalization. Prior to focusing and doing the consolidation at Belleterre, we were a small little junior with a few projects, but really no true flagship project. We were sitting in the vicinity of about a $7 million Canadian market capitalization. Once we were able to consolidate Belleterre, bring on Osisko Mining as a strategic investor, quickly went up to about a 14 million market capitalization. Once we completed and received some of the surface results from our summer exploration program last year, we rose to about 18 million market cap. At the moment, we sit in around the 15.5 to 16 million Canadian market cap. Unlike a lot of juniors out there, we've been able to hold our value. And I think that's testament to the project that we put together. So some of our objectives for 2022, where we really believe we can create some additional good value, would be identifying some of the structural mineralized traps and vectorizing some of our drill campaigns such that we do hit some economic mineralization. The Belleterre Gold Project opportunity, unique location. It's in the Quebec Greenstone Belt, heart of Quebec's mining industry. As you see on the map, it's situated about 95 kilometers south of Rouyn-Noranda and an equivalent distance from Val-d'Or, arguably the gold mining center in Quebec. So we have easy access year-round, good infrastructures nearby, high-grade gold potential. This is a proven mining belt, as Dina alluded to earlier in our introduction, produced in excess of 750,000 ounces of gold at a very high grade of 10.7 grams per ton. We also know that there are 20 known high-grade gold veins in the brownfield areas of our project. Unique size, what we've done is we've assembled a district scale project with 37 kilometers of favorable strike. We did this on purpose with the notion of down the road, we do have success, we'll be able to attract the interest of an intermediate or major producer. They want to see scale and size. 551 claims for about 300 square kilometers of ground. In order to consolidate Belleterre, we concluded about 10 acquisition and option and JV agreements. Unique opportunity, because of the size of the camp that we've assembled, this is multi-deposit potential. It's a very big playground. Laurent will go through it with you shortly. There's really only been shallow drilling to date. In our 3D model, he'll show you all the former drill holes. And like I alluded to, it's never been consolidated in the last 50 years and never explored using modern techniques. Just quickly, a little bit about the people at Vior. We've been around since 1984. Board of directors include Claude Saint Jacques. He was the original founder of Vior. He was also the founder of Mazaret and the very successful Virginia Gold Mines that was sold to Goldcorp in the early 2000s. Excellent business sense and a great voice to lean on when we're doing deals. Myself, my background, as Adina alluded to, was in the investment business. I have a lot of experience investing in junior miners, built up an extensive network in my investment practice over 30 years and an excellent network. The next gentleman is part of the new generation of very successful Quebec mining entrepreneurs. Eric Dezonia is the founder and CEO of Nouveau Graphite, which he's brought to about a 600 million market cap from 10 or 20 million dollars 5 years ago. He's been very instrumental on our board, very active member, and we're leaning on him for a lot of his connections globally, such that we can tell the Vior story. Charles-Olivier Tart is another board member, CFO of Nouveau Graphite, chartered accountant by training, president of our audit committee. And lastly, Laurent, who's here with me today. We've already done the introduction. He and I have been working hand to hand the last 18 months to build our flagship project, to advance it, and hopefully to have some exploration success this coming year. Our management is myself, Laurent, and our CFO for hire, Ingrid Marte. Technical team includes two very tenured 20+ year geos, Christian Blanchet and Mathieu Gay, formerly with Dundee Precious Metals. They are the boots on the ground, excellent field geos. Marc Leder is our former VP Exploration. He's a technical advisor. And Ken Williamson is a structural geologist consultant we hired on about 5 months ago. He's been instrumental in helping us in the compilation with our 3D model and identifying the best drill targets. Just quickly, corporate structure before we get into the technicals. These numbers are as of September 30th. We'll be publishing our year-end financials within the week. Working capital at the end of September was about $1.96 million hard dollars. We've been burning through that in the last 4 months. That number would probably be at year end in the vicinity of about 1.45 million. In addition to that, in the fall, we completed two flow-through financing rounds. The first one at the end of October for $1.49 million, and the second one just before Christmas for $800,000. So our treasury, we're sitting with a little over $3 million, including flow-through money at the moment. In addition to that, we have investments in public companies that are not included in our working capital. The current number would probably be in the vicinity of $1.5 million. Shares outstanding, 81.25 million. Major shareholders include Osisko Mining at 6.7% undiluted. Management approximately 16% undiluted. Quebec institutions, about 4 of them, about 16%. And close strategic holders, about 30%. Those would be about 15 high net worth individuals, a couple small family offices who have recently acquired shares that are good long-term investors. We know where the paper is, and if anybody has an interest in divesting at some future point, they will give us the courtesy of trying to find a buyer. Our warrants and options and our market capitalization today is about $16 million. I'm going to pass the floor over to Laurent. He's going to get into the technical details of our flagship project and a few of our other holdings in Quebec.
Sure. So hi, everyone, and pleased to be here and share with you on our exciting Belleterre project. So as Mark alluded to, we have been attracted at Belleterre for various reasons. First of all, its location in the heart of the mining industry in Quebec, providing some competitive advantages as low cost of exploration. And we've been all-in drilling cost in 2021 at about $160 per meters, which is really in the low range of the cost of drilling these days. We also think that we have a lower stakes of economical potential, considering the fact that we're close to infrastructures and the main producer in Quebec. So, I mean, we don't need to find a standalone 3 million ounces in James Bay to generate some interest from producers. Easy year-round access on the property, excellent infrastructures, and close to qualified workforce in Quebec, which is really critical these days. So part of that great location, we've been even more attracted by the geology with the high-grade component of the large footprint of the historic mining camp in Belleterre with up to 12 kilometers strike, suggesting the existence of a strong metallogenic system at Belleterre. So it's a proven mining belt that has been poorly and barely explored for the past 50 years for various reasons. The first one is that it was a really highly fragmented ownership which is usual in these type of old mining camp, and on which we've consolidated these past 12 months. It was an area known for only narrow gold veins. The fact that Belleterre is a small greenstone belt located south of the Cadillac Break, so outside of the influence of the major deformation zones of the Abitibi, was kind of reluctant for exploring this area. So we think these various reasons explain why the explorers discarded that area, and they were more looking for exploration north of the Cadillac zone, deformation zone on the larger greenstone belt of the Abitibi. So 18 to 12 months ago, Mark and I were looking for a flagship project, and we saw an opportunity to consolidate the area and execute on a similar approach of what Osisko and Integra and some other groups successfully did in the past, which is finding a new mine in an old high-grade mining camp by taking advantage of modern techniques and project scale. So since a year that we've initiated that strategy, we benefit from a confirmed low cost of exploration, take advantage of past exploration data by compiling and modelizing 3D model on the project. We've also been pretty active on the field, validating and extending gold showings, recognizing various types of mineralization, advancing on a new comprehensive structural interpretation that I will show you in a minute. And we've also completed a first 4,000-meter drilling program. So here, this slide is here to demonstrate that even not located on a major renowned deformation zone on a small greenstone belt have the potential for major world-class deposit. And for example, the Boddington mine in Australia in the Kilgan Craton was discovered in the 80s in an area that was for a long time underestimated and not explored properly. So by comparison, it is too early to know and reveal the full potential of the Belleterre project. But given its location in the heart of the mining industry in Quebec, just replacing what has been produced in the past, which is about 750,000 ounces of gold, it will be of interest for a producer that will reward greatly our shareholders. And that's the reason why we think that Belleterre provides an advantageous risk-reward opportunity to generate value for our shareholders. So here is the 3D model that we've completed. So now you see the aerial photo of the project, and the footprint of the property will appear now. You see the Belleterre town footprint and the old concession mine. And now you see the greenstone belt, and you see that we control most of the belt, the Belleterre belt. So you see now the high definition MAG survey that we've performed last spring to better understand the structures, which helped us greatly to generate 3D model and the new interpretation of the camp. And you see now overprinted location of the sample we've taken last summer. And we will concentrate on the brownfield area of the project, which is from the concession to here, and it is about 12 kilometers long. So you see in red and orange the location of the high-grade mineralization that we've been able to confirm and extend in gold showings, and in blue, the historic drilling colors on the field. And now you start to see the 3D model that we've been able to put together out of the high MAG resolution survey, and the geology. So we recognize various type of structures that could become good targets for exploration and traps for gold mineralization. So we will focus on the historic mine trend, which is from the mine to the Obel deposit. And as you can see, as we did that first model, we've been able to realize that particular trend in medium green. It's about 6 kilometers, 5.5 to 6 kilometers trend. And we've been able to realize that it's been folded northwest part of the belt and extend the potential for that particular prolific trend. So we will focus on the properly historic mine trend between the Obel mine and the Obel deposit, Belleterre mine and Obel deposit, and just pay attention to that blue-gray level, which is the 300 meters level depth. And you'll see that past drilling that has been done on the property is really shallow drilling, not much drilling go below 300 meters. So the Belleterre mine is there. The depths, lowest levels, development levels are about 650 meters to 700 meters depth. And you see in brownish color the panel of the targets, which is the interpretation of our geologists on the continuity of the main mineralized zones along strike and at depth. So here is the brownfield area. So it's about 12 kilometers from bottom left to top right corners. 2021 prospection campaign was concentrated on the northeast, where we have identified and discriminated the prospective exploration targets with major geological structures associated with high-grade gold mineralization at surface. So we've been able to recognize various areas to explore: the historic mine trend there, the Obel trend, some folded area to the west associated with high-grade mineralization, the major shear zone to the southwest here, which is not much explored, and the major magnetic break to the southeast in that area, where we see an unconformity between the volcano-sedimentary sequence in contact with some ultramafic units, which are untested and pretty good targets for gold mineralization. We've also identified a couple of lithogeochemistry anomalies, which sometimes are up to a kilometer long anomalies out of antimony, molybdenum, silver, copper, that are a really good signature for gold mineralization. So the same background with the numbers, pretty high grade mineralization up to 274.9 gram per ton, 121.3 gram per ton, 175 gram per ton of gold. But we've also got a pretty decent high-grade mineralization in silver with up to 394 gram per ton silver, which is a component of the belt that we knew that there was some silver, but it seems to have as well a really good potential for that as well. Here's some pictures of the samples with high-grade mineralization in quartz vein, 121.3 gram per ton, 274.9 gram per ton, but also some mineralization associated with some intrusives, namely QFP, was up 50.1 gram per ton. So if we could be able to find continuities of this type of mineralization, it could become a game changer for the project. So here is in red our exploration targets on which we will get back by stripping and drilling in 2022. Also at the end of the summer last year, we've completed with Cisco an agreement on the southwest part of the brownfield, which will be our focus, main focus for the 2022 summer campaign. So as I said, we've also recently completed the first 4,000 meter drilling campaign on 5 holes, targeting the extension along strike and at depths of the historic mine trend. The result of the 5 holes are expected at the end of Q1 2022. All the core has been logged and sampled, and you can see on the long view in orange the location of these holes. So from west to east, we've tested. The idea was to better understand the structural framework of that historic mine trend, with large step outs of known mineralization zones to better assess the potential of that particular horizon. So we've been able to recognize the geology, various type of lithology and structures on which we will get results to vectorize the next phases of exploration. So here is an example of targets that we will test in the coming campaigns. We will start another 5,000 meters in early March, and we are at the moment mobilizing on the field the team. So you see the old mine with its 4 shafts, The bulk of the mining production comes from Band 12 between Shaft 3 and Shaft 1 in that area. It's about 800 meters continuous gold vein. So given our comprehension of the geology on the concession, the major break is located south on the Mill Creek shear zone here, where we have two shafts that have been developed in the past, the Shaft 2 and Shaft 4. So confirming the gold endowment of that structure as well. So it's an old map. We guess it's been from the 30s, on which the old miners recognized intrusive rocks on the shear zone of the Mill Creek shear zone. And since then, no geology has been done for the reason that that particular area is a topographic low, and the miners used it at the time to accumulate the tailings of the past production started in 1936. So at the time, the cutoff grade was certainly around 4 to 5 grams per ton, and they were more likely chasing 1 to 2 ounces per ton at surface at the time. So it's exciting. We do not have evidence of drilling done in that area for many years. So it's really exciting to start that campaign and see what that particular structure could bear. So we'll see that in the next drilling campaign. So just to wrap up quickly, the execution of Vior since Jan 2021, we've been able to consolidate that prospective ground, including a total of 10 acquisition and option agreements. We now control a cohesive land package consisting of 551 claims covering 300 square kilometers, so really large district scale gold project. We've been able to validate at surface high-grade gold mineralization up to 274.5 grams per ton, numerous unexplored lithogeochemistry anomalies. We will tackle the Blondeau-Guillet project, which is the other half of the Belleterre historic brownfield, on which we've got an option agreement with Osisko, and will be the focus of Vior for 2022 summer campaign. We're also still waiting for till survey result from the 2 greenfield area of the project up north and down south, which will help us to vectorize the most prolific potential area, on which we will do some follow-up in prospection. So we've also completed, like I said, the first 4,000 meters drilling program. The results are estimated to be available end of Q1 2022. We initiate in a couple of days the second phase that will be more focused on the historic mine at Belleterre. And so we will work for phase 3 eventually in the coming months to follow up on these 2 first phases. A quick word on the other project that we have. We have the Ligneris project located in the La Flamme volcanic corridor. It's the continuity of the Normetal area, where Amex is exploring successfully high-grade mineralization to the west of the belt. And that's a really interesting project. We're chasing kind of gold rich VMS, which are kind of the Cadillac of the deposit in the Abitibi. It's elephant's chase. But the project is covered with a little bit of overburden, which requires a strategy of prospection drilling. So it requires big pockets to really explore it properly. And that's not the focus of Vior at the moment. We may have some interest for various partners on that particular project. And the other area that we'd like to touch base with you this morning is the Skyfall and Mosso project in the Urban-Barry Greenstone Belt, where Osisko and Bonterra successfully created value for their shareholders these last 3 to 5 years, delineating up to 8 million ounces at pretty high grade mineral. So what we have is a potential continuity of the geology to the east with the Skyfall project, and the Mosso Verneuil project is also a pretty interesting project on which we have a small resource of 4,000 non-43 101 4,000 ounces at 3.5 grams per ton. So on that, I will pass on the mic to Mark to wrap up the presentation.
Thank you, Laurent. So, just to conclude, I know we're running out of time here, but just briefly, the Vior investment opportunity. First of all, solid foundation. We have a very low corporate structure, large insider share ownership. We've got skin in the game. We're aligned with our shareholders. We've got exposure to 9 promising precious metal projects, all in safe jurisdictions, either Quebec or Nevada, all with significant new discovery potential. Solid, proven strategy. Osisko Mining has recently validated what we've done in terms of corporate execution and the quality of the Belleterre project by making a strategic investment in Vior this past March. In addition, we're going to have continuous news flow throughout 2022. Belleterre could develop rapidly, particularly in the brownfield areas of the project, where we've had some excellent surface results. As we mentioned, we've completed 4,000 meters of drilling, results at the end of Q1, and we are about to embark on a new 5,000 meter drill campaign first week of March. The other projects all have excellent potential as well. As a junior, we cannot do everything. So we're seeking good partners for several of the other projects that Laurent touched upon. And lastly, we do have another potential catalyst in Ridgeline Minerals. This investment is treated as a mid to long-term investment within our portfolio. They have 4 excellent gold and silver projects in Nevada that could surprise us. So, I'd just like to thank everybody for taking the time to listen to our corporate presentation. We think that we've got a really compelling story here in 2022. We hope we have some success with the drill bit, obviously. But, I think we've got a wonderful playground in which to have that success. So maybe perhaps open it up to questions from the audience.
Thank you, Mark and Laurent. Excellent presentation and very exciting projects. We received a few questions. First of all, what are your holding costs for your entire portfolio of projects in Quebec? Do you have a property option or work commitments and obligations?
So the holding cost is really low for the projects we have. We have lots of credits, exploration credit, and the way it works in Quebec, when you have credits, you do not have to spend much on the field. So that is pretty well under control. And for the option that we have just 2 obligations at the corporate level with Osisko and JAG, Lemin JAG on the Belleterre project, on which we've completed already the expenses for the JAG area, and we will concentrate on Osisko in 2022, and we have no worries to fulfill that obligation.
I would just add that the option agreement that we struck at Belleterre, the 2 principal ones, they're back-ended, so we've got very little in terms of dollar commitment. They were very well negotiated. Some minor payments coming up over the next 12 to 18 months, but they're minimal in the $50,000, $75,000 range only. And the bulk of the payments are also payable in either cash or stock. But we don't expect any payment requirements for a minimum of 12 to 18 months.
Thank you. The next question is, have the QFPs historically been recognized and sampled for gold endowment?
That's a really good question. And I'd say they were partly recognized, but I would say it was not the type of mineralization that was chased at the time. They were looking for really high-grade mineralization. And this type of mineralization at the time were not an economical potential. So that's something which we have eyes on it. And for sure, what we try to find is something different that was produced before. I mean, these high-grade mineralization are a symptom of a large potential mineralized metallogenic system. And that's what we try to understand. And the fact that we've consolidated all these claims together give us a large overview of the whole geology and help us to now target on what could be the real traps for gold mineralization. So that's the game plan. That's what we're looking for, a real exploration success.
The next question is about your flagship asset, Belleterre. How did you come up and select the drill targets for the phase 1 drill program? And do you have the drill targets ready for the phase 2?
Yeah, good question. So we decided to focus on the historic mine trend for the first campaign, and we decided to do some really large step out from what was known in terms of mineralization. The idea was to chase at depths if there is some if the structures are continuous, and if there is gold at depths. So that was the first thing that we had to answer, and we will get results as well. We are focusing on the structures because we're looking for larger mineralization type. So it requires various type of intersection of structures, alteration, and type of mineralization. That's all the ingredients that we are looking for to find a mine. So that's what we've done for that. First, we decided to remain on that historic mine trend where we had more information, and learn from that trend to eventually applicate that for outside of that mine trend. So the second question for the next campaign, it will be more concentrated on the old mine. So what you have to understand is in a so short time frame, we've been able to consolidate and compile these projects, and they were all from hard copies. So we had to work really hard to put that in the 21st century, in digitized world, and modelizing the mine took a little bit more time. So that's the reason we had to wait the result of that modelization to be sure to really understand the potential of that area, to make sure that we won't test things that have been already tested. So we're pretty confident that the targets that we have are something that will be new and eventually end up with some exciting success.
Great. Yeah, the question about the historical production at Belleterre. Where and how did the old miners get the historical gold? How do you think would this affect the exploration at Belleterre?
So the bulk of the mining production at the Belleterre mine was on vein 12. It's a kind of narrow veins between 50 centimeters to 3 meters wide, continuous on 800 meters long, and about 200 to 600 meters at depth. So that's mainly where the most of the gold has been produced. There's also some mineralization associated with some folding to the southwest of the concession. So basically, that's where it comes from. We are still debating internally on that particular area. It's an old mine, so there's lots of geology. But we think that the pressure of fluids that generated these mineralization could be associated with other structures like the one that I showed you, the Mill Creek shear zone, and some other structures that we have to the southwest. So that's the reason we will focus as well on others area where we think we may have some good potential.
And the last question. Given the good strategic location of your Skyfall and Mosso projects, what are your plans for these two projects this year?
I'll answer that one.
Yeah, go ahead.
So we're going to advance them moderately here. We do have a summer field exploration program earmarked for Skyfall. This is a very early stage greenfield project, and will likely require 2 to 3 years to really get it to a stage to fully understand what we have on our hands. As I alluded to earlier, we have a limited amount of capital. We only have so much manpower. And really right now, we're looking to create the most value from Belleterre. Secondly, Mosso, we recently consolidated a parcel, another project adjacent to it. It was a project swap with SOCAM in Quebec. And we've really increased the footprint there to make it more attractive to a potential partner. I believe, Laurent, our strike length there is about, 12 kilometers or so?
14
kilometers. There is gold. There was a small drill campaign undertaken in 2017 with some reasonable results in decent vein widths. But once again, we can't do everything. This is a project that I really think could attract the attention of a well-heeled junior, that's drill ready.
I actually received another question.
Okay.
So I believe we have a couple of minutes.
Sure.
Yeah, so the question is, are there nickel showings in the Belleterre area? The Yilgarn Craton in Australia does have nickel deposit. The Saddleback Greenstone Belt and then Yilgarn Craton is small.
Yeah, it's a really good question. We've got some nickel indication potential. We've got also some ultramafic lithology, which are usually associated with. So yes, it's also another potential. We're not talking about it because we're more gold focused, but we have eyes on, I mean, we've also got some copper, which is also a really good ingredient associated with some type of mineralization that we try to chase as well. So no, I mean, it's really exciting area that has not been really looked at for many years. And I think with these, I mean, it's been worked in the 30s, 40s, 50s, but the geology at the time was not the same as what we know now. So it's a really good opportunity to re-understand the geology, the potential, and we may end up with some really good surprises.
Well, that's the end of the Q&A session. Thank you again, Mark and Laurent, and thank you everyone who attended the webinar. Have a great day, and good night to you, Mark and Laurent.
Thank you.
Thank you, Adina, and thank you everybody who attended. We really appreciate your time to hear our story.